A good post-Thanksgiving Monday to all of you folks watching. I apologize that there's some background noise going on. There's some stuff going on underneath me, but we'll try and push through that. Trying something new here from the Mazz Bads tree. Those of you who have been with me for a while, you'll know I used to have the Breath of Fresh Jets podcast. Nowadays, me and Mazz have a bit more of a wide-ranging show covering more things than just the New York Jets, fortunately for my sanity. But I figured, hey, you know what? We didn't put anything out last week. This might be a little fun. How about a little Breath of Fresh Jets Quickie throwback to some of the stuff I used to do? But speaking of the Jets, coming off a loss yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks, 26-21, drops them to 3-9. Just another brutal road loss for the Jets, home loss for the Jets, which is they are now 2-4 at home on the season. Thanks for bumping up those ticket prices, Woody. Really appreciate it. But yeah, just a total embarrassment when you have a kick return touchdown and when you go up 21-7 or whatever it was before the Leonard Williams pick six. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up for the Jets anymore. Their former first-round pick defensive lineman running back an interception for a touchdown on them. But I think one of the biggest storylines coming out of yesterday's game, and has been for the last few weeks now, is Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be here next year for the Jets? Do the Jets want him back? Does he want to be back with the Jets? And it's a very layered, multifaceted question because there's so many different aspects to this that we don't even know some of the particular variables that come with it. The new GM and the new head coach are going to obviously have a say in whether or not they bring Rodgers back. And depending on the scenario of who the coach is and what direction they go with the roster, do they go full rebuild? Do they pull the plug on some guys, start trading assets to get more picks down the road? Or do you hang on to some of these young guys you have now to try and compete next year in your first season as a new head coach? There's a whole lot of layers to this. So we're just going to attack it base level. And does the average fan want Aaron Rodgers back as the quarterback for this team next year? So yesterday was ugly. He played okay in the first half up until that interception. He still missed some really, really easy throws, easy in terms of, former Aaron Rodgers. If he was in Green Bay, he would have made some of this stuff in his sleep, like, of course, missing Garrett Wilson in the end zone for what would have been the go-up touchdown to make it a 3-score game, which not necessarily put it away, but would have absolutely put a stamp on it and made it a lot more difficult for the Seattle Seahawks, who started off so slow and so sluggish, to come back in that game. But post-game, Rodgers just, when he's being asked questions about how is he affecting the team and what can he do better and how come you're playing so poorly this year? The numbers are bad, and he just said, "Hey, listen, there's 11 guys out on the field." And sure, that's absolutely the case. It's not always, every loss has not been on Aaron Rodgers. He definitely has some culpability, but it would be nice for your franchise quarterback who you moved heaven and earth to get here. You bent over backwards to bring over some of his guys and his pieces. You'd like to hear some more accountability from him. And unfortunately, that's just kind of the culture that has grown and festered in the Jets locker room. Not even just when they acquired Aaron Rodgers, but kind of Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas's tenure was just always the woe is me, let's point some fingers, which has just infected the Jets locker room. And you can see it on a weekly basis. No one takes accountability. Jeff Ulbrich is, he's doing his best, but he's not set to be an NFL head coach, and he's definitely not equipped right now to be one. I mean, maybe if the Jets had not given him so much responsibility when they named him the interim. You know what? I'm getting off topic. This video is supposed to be about Aaron Rodgers. So for the negatives of keeping Aaron Rodgers, right, which is the side that a lot of people seem to be mostly talking about right now, is just if he's here, it still feels like he has some sort of organizational sway and power, and there's still some things that he has access to that maybe he shouldn't on a team that's looking to start fresh and wipe the slate clean. He definitely would still have some pull. I mean, he'd definitely be one of the leaders in the locker room, being one of the oldest guys in the league at this point. But the case can be made that his presence is also to an extent harmful because, yeah, when he comes back into the locker room after these post-game press conferences, I'm not saying guys are peeking in the doorway listening to what he's saying, but it trickles back to them. They hear him saying that, hey, there's 11 guys on the field and it's not just me. I mean, it's one thing to go back into the locker room behind closed doors and say, hey, guys, like, we need to be playing better. You guys need to be doing this differently and that differently. it's a whole different thing, which goes back to the Mike Williams red line comment that some things should be kept in-house. Some things should be said behind closed doors, and some things shouldn't be said to the rest of the entire world. And those are the kind of negative things you get with Aaron Rodgers, especially when things aren't going well, as they are right now with the Jets. Now, as for the case of keeping Aaron Rodgers and bringing him back next year as the Jets starting quarterback in 2025, you look at the landscape around the league and this upcoming rookie quarterback class, the current seniors or guys that are about to come out, there really isn't a bona fide, like, this guy's ready to play week one, day one, going to come in and lift your franchise. No, all these guys, Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, all are not going to be starting week one. And if they are, there's some sort of organizational malpractice going on. And then you get to the next level of your quarterbacks that could be playing for you next year, and you got the free agent guys. You got Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. It's looking like Kirk Cousins could be available. Off the top of my head, I mean, you never know who's going to be available because some guys, are scheduled to be set to be free agents, and some guys who aren't scheduled to hit the market but still end up for sale anyway. And to me personally, if you're the Jets and you're going towards a youth movement, I really think if you draft a quarterback in the late first round, day two, like a Jalen Milroe, like a Quinn Ewers, you're not going to start in week one, and you want a veteran quarterback in front of them that's going to be able to play. And all due respect to Tyrod Taylor, I think even though Aaron Rodgers has looked so old this year and not played up to his standard of the MVP and what he achieved in Green Bay, becoming a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, I think you get a new coach in here, you run an offensive scheme that's not from 2019, it's not from 2020. I think if you run a modern-day NFL system, Aaron Rodgers can still have success. Now, does that mean he's going to go back to his MVP form and throw for 30 touchdowns and less than 5 picks and have a 65% completion percentage or better? No. He's 41 years old today, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they were talking about on the broadcast yesterday. He's never going to recapture that form, it's looking like. And as sad as it is to say, I mean, Father Time's undefeated. This is the way it is. Unless you're LeBron James or Tom Brady, you're just once you hit that 40, like, you're just gonna unfortunately lose those physical tools that got you so far in the first place. Now, I am personally, and this Jet fans, NFL fans, you can look at it whatever way you want to. Me personally, I err on the side of bringing Rodgers back next year. I don't really see a better option out there as your starting quarterback. If he's willing to come back and decrease that $65 million cap hit, whatever it is, if he's coming back to play next year, which I know people be freaking out about, but that's easily fixable, guys. You can add those void years. You can add whatever you want to manipulate that to make it a less of a financial burden for next season. But I think bringing Rodgers back into the fold, if he's interested and if he's not going to be toxic, having him start ahead of a young quarterback and have Jordan Travis and you insert your rookie quarterback here, I think that's really a best case scenario for the Jets, because Rodgers, while he is not what he once was, he can still tutor a young guy. I mean, look at Jordan Love. He sat behind Rodgers for 3 years, and now he's having a fantastic first couple years as a starter for the Packers. I see him as a really good mentor bridge quarterback that could help bring the Jets into a new era. I know that might not be very popular with a lot of people out there, but that's just the way I feel right now. I mean, we still have 5 games left in the season. If things really do sour and spiral out of control, of course things can change. But as of right now, I err on the side of bringing A-Rod back. But that's just me. That's all I got for today. Just wanted to get something quick out because I had to get something off my chest. It's been a little too long since I was able to just kind of focus and zero in on the Jets. And if you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. And we'll see you more this week. Me and Mazz both will be back for an episode of the Mazz Bads podcast. See you then.